Hello my angels and welcome back. Today is going to be a bit more of a chatty video. I have got my notes here and I have got 4 things you need to do to be content and happy in your life, but I'm going to do that as the next video. In this one, I just want to talk freely. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here. And we're going to be talking about procrastination. And it's something that has been creeping up again for me, and hopefully by me talking about this, I can understand it myself and hopefully I can help you as well. It's something I've had to deal with before, and I find that it can be connected to self-sabotage, right? And I always talk about, if you've watched any of my videos, that it's all to do with your mindset. When you want to achieve something, or when you're stopped from doing something, or you have a particular addiction or habit or whatever it is in your life that seems to be a discomfort to you, that isn't allowing you to achieve your goals or get you to the best version of yourself, it's to do with up here. And up here is based upon a set of belief systems, morals and structures from your life's experience, and it's a perception, right? We all have a different perception of life and we have a different thought process and the way we think about things, but the way we think impacts what it is that we do if we allow it to. Now, procrastination was a struggle for me in the past, and the way that I've overcome this is I've tried to understand why I'm putting those things off. And I'm going to use the gym as an example. So I used to sit in the gym car park and not go in. And I had to kind of figure out why that was. Like, why would I sit and do that? And I come up with so many different beliefs that I was telling myself, and I kind of had to work through each belief. And they were things like that I look too big, so I was too worried about people watching me. I didn't know what I was doing. When I did know what I was doing, like, it's not hard to get on a treadmill, right? It's not hard to lift a weight. I've been going to the gym now for a long time, easily and effortlessly. I don't find it difficult. I don't overthink it. I don't worry about it. So I know that that's not a procrastination I struggle with. Like, I don't struggle with it anymore, putting it off. But there is something in my life right now that I am struggling with, and that is putting out my videos. Now, I have no problem with talking. I love doing my content reels on my socials. I love doing my stories. When it comes to doing a YouTube video, now this is something I've always wanted to do, and I do put them out pretty much every week. And it's something I've always wanted to build and grow on. But recently I've found that I will sit and dwell on things that I know that I'm confident in talking about, because I do masterclasses, sessions, I create content for courses with no issue. But for some reason, it's something I have been putting off more recently. And I can feel it seeping into other areas of my work. Now, I know that this comes from somewhere. I know that something must be being triggered. And when I think about it, I'm going to try not to feel it too much. Well, I am. It's good to feel it, right? I just feel this overwhelmed sadness. Like, I feel sad when I think, why don't you want to do it? Or why? It's not that I don't want to do it. I do want to do it, right? And we find that with a lot of the things that we're putting off. It's not that we don't want to do them. We want to do them, but there's something within us that is stopping us. And I think it's really important for me to talk about this, because I am someone that tries to talk positively and tries to motivate other people. I don't think motivation exists long term. So we need those people around us, right, that can push us forward. And I try and be that. And I try and be that for myself. And I watch other people, other podcasts, and I listen to other things that help keep me on the right path of where I want to go and what I want to achieve and what I want to do. But if I want to reach people through YouTube, I have to put things out on YouTube, right? And there's something there that is stopping me. I don't allow it to, but I don't want it to feel uncomfortable anymore. I don't want to be doing something that makes me feel uncomfortable. And when I first started putting videos out, and in other social platforms, I really enjoy it. And I actually love creating content, and I love editing content. And I've found the last couple of weeks, I've been doing videos where I haven't had to edit them. I've tried to talk in a way where I don't need to edit. And that's part of the enjoyment for me. And I seem to somehow have lost that. And I'm sat here trying to figure out the why. And I also know that sometimes there isn't a why, right? Sometimes we just need to find... Why am I feeling like finding your spark again with something? And there's one thing I do know for sure is when you lose that, then get ready. Because when you lose a spark and you keep pushing through it, like I literally feel like I'm on the edge of getting really upset, which is silly, that you're on the edge of something good. And we say this all the time when things, you know, people who do manifestation, spirituality, when things drop, get ready because you're about to go through a rise. And yes, that can help keep us motivated when we know that sometimes things aren't always going to feel great. Like things don't feel great all the time. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't do them. And a lot of the time people think if things feel a bit uncomfortable that we shouldn't do it, and that it's our intuition. This is not my intuition telling me not to do it. This is somewhere within me, some kind of wounding that's stopping me from doing it. And when I tap into this sadness, if I like sit with myself, I'm like, why do I feel sad? I think it stems from some kind of worthiness of not feeling like it's good enough. And now I know deep down, like I've studied a lot. I know a lot about mindset. I know how to help people overcome procrastination and self-sabotage and addictions and low mood, and to get to the life that they want. And when I look at my life, I do have the life that I have dreamed of, that I really, really wanted. But I also believe it doesn't matter what you have externally. And I think this is a lesson that life is teaching me right now, is it doesn't matter what you have externally. It's what is internal that counts. And I've always known this, but I feel like this is a reminder for me right now, is to enjoy the process of becoming. If you can create content and videos and you can run your business, right? Say you might relate to this, you can run your business or do your hobbies without being at the top. If you can do them then, you can most definitely do them when you've got people watching you. And maybe that's the fear, maybe that's the sadness, that more and more people eventually will see me and watch me. There is definitely a fear there, which I didn't realise I had, that I'm going to write down. Fear of being seen. I don't have a fear of being seen. It's more, do you know what I think it is? I think the fear and the sadness is coming up because I'm coming out of my comfort zone. Because even though I've been doing the videos for some time, I do see that my subscribers are rising. They're not like shooting up really quickly, but they are rising, and more people are watching my videos, and my videos are getting more and more views. And I think it feels uncomfortable. And so my mind and my body is saying, we shouldn't do this because it's uncomfortable. And I feel like that is no reason to give up. I won't ever give up doing the things that I want to do. It's not just about creating a video, right? It's not just about putting something on socials. It's more about wanting to help people. But in that process, I want to help myself as well. And I know that I've come really far. And I'm sure if you're watching this and you watch self-development videos, you have come really far too. And it's not that we need more. It's one that we definitely deserve more if we want to have it. But I just want to be able to enjoy the process of becoming in all moments. But I don't think that's possible. I think the whole point of life and what I'm feeling, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a psychic medium, I connect to spirit. So as I'm saying this, like, I'm getting nudges from my spirit guides that are kind of like pointing me in the right direction of what I need to understand and what I need to know. And what I'm being shown right now is the yin yang. To me, this represents the light and dark of energies. And they're showing me this through my clairvoyant. And I had a massive penny drop at the end of last year that we don't always have to feel incredible all the time. And actually one of our purposes here as humans, and one of our, like, the main reasons that we're here, is to experience life. And, you know, I kind of had a bit of a thing with spirit, because I was like, but life isn't always great. And there are some real dark energy. Like, we can talk about being a bit sad and being a bit fearful, but like, there's some real disgusting stuff in this world, right? Like, how does that make sense? And I think this is why we can't always make sense of everything. And we just have to allow things to flow. And there are things, it's interesting because as I'm talking this, I'm thinking back on past things for me that were pretty dark, right? And so there must be some connectivity. And this is the way I look at stuff, right? And this is just you seeing me go through the motions and go through my thought process. I've written down that there's fear. I've written down that there's sadness. I'm now being brought back to certain memories in my life that were dark. And I feel this must be connected, because it's coming to me that as I'm sitting with it, that there is a fear of being seen. Because if you're seen, you're putting yourself forward for harm. Wow. It's a safety mechanism. Sorry. I'm just processing it. It's a safety mechanism. And that is the case a lot of the time. A lot of the time, we don't do things, or we do certain things as a safety mechanism. And so that makes sense to me now. And I think the way that I push through it, as I know, I just have to do it. Which is why I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to talk about the things that I've written down. And these are things that I've really placed into my life that do cause a lot of contentment and happiness. But if I'm truly speaking from my heart, the thing that I'm struggling with the most right now is procrastination. It's not procrastination with everything. My health, great. Going to the gym, looking after my house. I'm making sure I'm taking the washing out and not leaving it in there for days. Anyone with ADHD will understand that one. I'm booking things in to get my garden done, to get the house, like, things are going smoothly. My work, I'm on top of my social media present, but I'm noticing that there's small things, especially with YouTube, where it's something that I really want to grow. It's something that I want. So if it's something that I want, why do I sit down and not want to do it? It doesn't make sense, does it? So then now this is why I'm trying to make sense of it. And I think it's also important to show how I make sense of that, because I do sit on my social media and I sit on my YouTube and I say, this is what we need to implement and this is what we need to do. But in order to get to that and to understand what we need to implement, we do have to sit with ourselves, and we do have to, and that's what I'm doing now, is I'm sitting with myself and I'm letting you watch me I'm just babbling here, right? We have to go through the motions. And now I know straight off that the reason I'm doing it is because of a belief and because of emotion, probably because of a fear, probably because of safety. But sometimes we have to really go through that thought process of like, okay, well, where does that mechanism come from? Like, why are we not doing the things that we want to do to improve our lives? And I think when you can actually figure out the why, for me personally, when you can see the why in your mind, you're like, oh, that makes sense. I see now. And because I can see clearly, I'm no longer going to allow that to be my story. And I'm going to push through those emotions. And like I said, Spirit, show me the yin and yang, the flowing through those emotions and allowing those emotions to flow and still showing up anyway. I always say you should show up. If you say you're going to do something, you should still show up, even if the mood you set it in has gone, right? So if you're feeling amazing and like you need to do something, you decide you're going to do it, and then that mood goes, that motivation goes, you should still do it because you said you were going to do it. That doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. It doesn't mean that even though you really want to do something, that when you go to do it, that you want to do it. And I also believe that that's because it's change and growth. And change and growth happens when you're not in your comfort zone. And I know this to my core, but I'm still human. And I'm still going to feel these motions. And it's also a reminder that healing isn't linear, and that there are moments where we go forward and then we feel like we go back a little bit. You're not going backwards, you're just learning. I'm just clearing out the things, the residue of the stuff of my past that I no longer want to live from. I don't want to live from a place of fear. I don't want to feel like it's safer to sit and do nothing than it is to put myself out there and share all the knowledge that I've worked so hard to learn, and to develop my gifts and to develop my wisdom and how I gain my knowledge and things like that. Because sometimes, yes, I gain my knowledge through books and studying, but I also gain them through my psychic development and my spirit team and my spirit guides. And I want to be able to share that. And like, I truly, deep in my soul, want to be able to share that in my spirit. But that human mind part of me, even though I know all this stuff and I understand this stuff to like my core, the mind is still going to trick me, and it's still going to trick you. So I think also the message in this is, if you are feeling right now like you've done a lot of work on yourself and you maybe see other people and you compare yourself to them, don't. Because we all go through those motions, and the most important thing is to face it, to not ignore it. I want to be more vulnerable in here. I want to be able to talk freely about the actual experience of healing, because I think there is also so much toxicity in spirituality, in anything. You know, we've got toxic positivity, and I don't want to be that. I want to share the realness and the rawness of it. And I now know that the reason I have been putting certain things off that I really want to do is because it keeps me safe. But as we know, it does not keep you safe. It keeps you stuck. And I'm going to show up no matter how I feel. If I feel sad, if I feel angry, I will still show up. Even if I don't even feel like I have much to talk about, right? And I don't know where to begin with it. And you should too, because you deserve that. You deserve to show up for yourself. And so if you're struggling with something right now, ask yourself and sit with yourself of why you're putting it off or why you're sabotaging it. A lot of the time that we self-sabotage because we know how good it's going to get. And it's the same with procrastination. Like, we know in our soul that it's what we're supposed to be doing, but there are certain beliefs and structures that need to be broken down in the process. So sit with yourself and start to understand your own mind. And I feel like a lot of the time people will say that they're lost. And I could see this right now as being something in the past where it would have really overwhelmed me and made me feel lost and made me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I would have ended up doing other things instead of sitting down and just going, do you know what? I'm just going to record. The past me would have found other things to avoid it. I would have filled the void, right? Whereas now, I'll sit with it. And I think that is what we need to do, is to face it. It doesn't mean it's going to go away straight away. It doesn't mean it's going to feel comfortable straight away. It means that your soul is telling you to go down this path, and you're going to face all the things that your structure has taught you. And with life, it teaches us things all the time, and your mind will believe whatever you continuously think, right? So if we have a experience which is causing us to want to sit in so much safety and not show up in the things that we want to do, we have to face it. We have to face that fear full on, head on, and not try and suppress the emotions that come up. I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to have a little cry after this. I'm probably going to have a little cry and just also honor myself and be appreciative to myself for sitting here, being so honest, and not also being so honest with you, but being honest with myself, that it is okay to still be healing, even after years of doing it, even after years of studying, and that I have to look at the way I would have dealt with it in the past to how I'm dealing with it now, and it's to continue on and to face where that fear may be and to do it anyway. And I hope this has helped somebody. I hope that me speaking about this can make you realize that you are not alone in the things that you want to do, but then your mind tries to stop you from doing them. It's completely normal, whatever stage we get at. And I feel for me, I've found a lot of balance in my life, and it's continuously allowing balance to take place and not letting the scale tip. So on the moments where I don't feel like showing up in my work or doing something in particular, I'm still going to, because if I don't, I'm going to tip the scale. Like, I could have gone to the gym earlier instead. I could have cleaned the house again. I could have found something to do in the house. That tips the scale, right? Even doing things that are good for you are sometimes not good for you. Too much of anything, it can be detrimental if we are avoiding how we truly view and feel about something. The only way to overcome a hurdle is to jump over the hurdle. If you keep going backwards and going back to the other hurdles that aren't even there anymore because you already dealt with them, right? Like I said at the beginning, me going to the gym, I've already dealt with that. Like, I don't need to keep revisiting that stuff. I need to visit what's in front of me, and what was in front of me was putting something off. And I feel like I'm still processing it, and I will still continue to show up every week regardless of how I feel. And it's so mad because I do really want to do it. So it's crazy to me how the mind, this is why I find mindset and subconscious healing so fascinating. And I am actually going to go and sit and do my own release and reframe in a second to help with this, because now I know that my mind is starting to bring up where it come from. I have the emotions there. I spoke about this in my other videos. Go have a look back at some of my other videos to do with subconscious reprogramming, and you'll hear me talk about how to actually deal with this stuff. It doesn't mean that it always completely goes away. It means that we're able to deal with it when it comes up. And there are, like I said, there are other areas of my life that I used to procrastinate that I just don't at all anymore, and it doesn't faze me. So I know at some point I'm going to be able to clear this, and I'm going to do my release and reframe. So if you're interested in understanding the subconscious more, and you are like me, where there is something that you are wanting to deal with at the moment, and you're not quite sure how to, and you have to sit with yourself with it, do this, because this will allow you to sit with yourself. I'll put the link in the description. I'm going to go do it myself now as well, and hope that that helps with those motions. But just sitting in those motions and just sitting in what I have been as I'm talking to you, and I apologize if I've repeated myself, has already helped me. Like, I already feel like, no, this is a good thing. This is a good thing that you've recognized that fear and that it's a safety mechanism, but it's not actually keeping me safe. It's just keeping me in a place that I don't want to be in. So I'm not going to listen to that thought, because thoughts are not facts, and we're going to keep moving forward, and you're going to do the same. And if you want to go have a look at release and reframe, and that thing that you've been putting off, sit with yourself, talk out loud, figure out where it comes from, and overcome it. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Well, we will do the actual video we were supposed to do. My angels, I just want to add on to the end of this something they don't talk about a lot, people don't talk about a lot with healing, is that life will still happen. I try and say this as much as I can. Life will still happen. There will still be things in life that will occur. There will still be certain emotions that will come up for you. You will still have some triggers. Not all the time. You won't be triggered as much as you used to. And that's the point. The point is to be able to handle things differently. And my next video is going to be about contentment and happiness, right? But you're never going to fully be able to control, you're never going to be able to control life and the things that are around you all the time. It's how you deal with yourself that is important. And there are going to be things that crop up on your healing journey, regardless if you've been on it for years or you've just started it. We become resilient, right? This is what healing is. We become resilient enough to be able to deal with things in a way that we don't allow it to stop us from being who we want to be or living the life that we want to live. We don't go into this turmoil state. We deal with it face on. And the more you deal with yourself, the more you sit with yourself, I'm not going to say it gets easier, but you're able to do it and you want to do it. Even though you know it might bring up some trauma, even though you know that it might bring up some emotions, you're like, I know I can deal with it, because you become resilient and you become able to deal with your triggers in a way that you can take the emotional charge out of them. So then when something goes wrong in life, when, I don't know, the car breaks down, or you have an issue within your friendship or your housing or whatever it may be, or that you're putting off and procrastinating stuff, you're able to look at it straight in the eyes. Even if you're scared, even if you're worried, even if you're not sure, even if you don't know the path, you become so resilient that you're able to do it. Healing isn't necessarily about getting all the material things in your life. Healing isn't necessarily, it's not about desires. It's about being able to deal with life and be grounded in that. And so I just wanted to add that to the end.